Welcome to my pelvic floor mat. This class is a continuation on the pelvic floor tutorial. I urge you, if you haven't watched the pelvic floor tutorial or the breathing tutorial, I'd like to invite you to have a look at them so this mat makes more sense to you. Now, before we start this class, I urge you to empty the bladder because we're going to work on the pelvic floor muscles, and when you have a full bladder, it's going to be very uncomfortable. So there are a few things that I like you to prepare for yourself at home. I have here a roller. That is if you have it. If you do not have it, that's okay. Okay, or I have a bouncy ball. This is my daughter's frozen ball. You can also use like a volleyball or a basketball or any other bouncing ball or oval ball, a Pilates oval ball, okay? That works too. We're going to go through them, what kind of density the ball should be. Then moving on, I have a lot of pillows here, okay? It depends on how you prefer your pillows to be. So let's get going. Now, the first part of this class is going to be how to release your pelvic floor and where is your pelvic floor. I'm going to give you a few options at how you can do it, okay? So if you have a roller, go ahead and take them. Now you can sit on the roller like so. Okay, we're going to start sitting like that. If you don't have a roller, that's okay. You can use a ball and you can sit the same way. Now a more dense ball or harder surface ball will give you quite a pressure in the pelvic floor, and maybe that's uncomfortable for you. You can find a softer ball. If you don't have a ball, that's all right. You can also use pillows like so, okay? You can stack the pillows however high you like, and you can go ahead and sit on it. Okay, so it doesn't give you as much feedback as the roller or a ball, but you know, it does have enough feedback. Okay, I'm going to use a roller today because I have it with me, and if you have a roller, I strongly suggest to use it. Okay, so I want you to straddle yourself on the roller. Okay, like so. I want you to sit your pelvis on it. Going back to the pelvic floor tutorial, how the pelvic floor muscle attaches to the pubic bone, the front of the pelvis, the coccyx at the back of the pelvis, and to the sits bone. Okay, here, sitting on the roller or ball or the pillow, I want you to sort of just rock forward and backward. Here, perhaps close your eyes when you do so. Just rocking forward and backward. Perhaps it feels uncomfortable for you. Okay, now I'd like to invite you to be sensitive to the sensation of the pelvic floor of the pelvis with the roller, the ball, or the pillow. Okay, now if the surface of what you're sitting is quite dense, you may find this a little bit uncomfortable, you know, because we are sort of massaging or releasing the scar tissue, if you have any, in that pelvic floor muscles. If it's too painful, you can just release out a little bit more. Take the weight out of the roller or the ball, okay, and then just do it gently. Okay, now just close your eyes here for a moment. Now when you rock forward, you'll find or you'll meet the pubic bone. When you rock back, you'll find the the tailbone, the coccyx. And then I want you to also just kind of tip to the right. So put more weight on the right leg and then put more weight on the left leg. And then you'll find those sitting bones Now, if you have an imbalance of the pelvic floor, you'll find that one part or one side of the pelvic floor will be a lot more uncomfortable than the other. Take it easy. Lift out of the weight, you know. And then you can go ahead and tip forward and back again, or you can make a little circular movement around, tracing the pubic, sits bone, tailbone. I'm closing my eyes here as I'm talking to you because I want myself to feel the sensation of my pelvic floor against or on the roller. And I'm going to take myself over to the other side. You know, go ahead and pause the video if you need to, if you need more time, if you want me to just not listen to my voices and just want to have a little quiet time for yourself. Okay? Just roll it around. Explore. Forward and back, left and right. Remember, the pelvic basin is filled with connective tissue and muscle. For those of you female women who have had childbirth through any method, you know, perhaps you may have some scar tissue around the pelvic floor muscles. Okay, and this will help you to sort of work on that scar tissue, releasing that tension in that tissue, and bring that elasticity of the pelvic floor back into its original state. Okay? Now, let's change the position. I want you to open your eyes. I want you to take your feet forward and sit like so. Right here as well, I want you to rock back. You can find more the tailbone, the coccyx here, and then forward. Again, we're massaging the posterior passage of the pelvic floor. Perhaps if you find that you've been standing in a slouch pelvic position, that the posterior part of your pelvic floor is a little tight. Again, close your eyes. Allow yourself, invite the sensation of that pelvic floor in the body. Maybe you're pulling your face in a different way because it's very uncomfortable. That's all right. It's a good sensation though. Observe it as you do this. And then moving on into left and right, we kind of sway like rocking in a boat, you know. And you find that left and the right sitting bone. You know, what I'm feeling at the moment here as I'm pulling my right bottom out is that my right sitting bone, it's so, the space between my pelvic floor, the middle of my pelvic floor, my right sitting bone is pretty tight. So, you know, I have an imbalanced pelvic floor in a way, right? But I'm working on this to release that tightness on my right pelvic floor. Maybe you find that I'm talking gibberish right now, thinking, how the hell, sorry, excuse my word, how did you find that tightness? You know, through practice, you do it over and over again. I'm allowing myself to be open about any feeling, any pain, any relief, you know, any emotion that comes out of this, what I call a release technique. And then I invite you to do a little circular motion again, you know, trace that tail, right? Sitting bone, front pubic bone, and then left, and then just go around it. And over to the other side. Okay, there is no right or wrong. Everyone's pelvic floor is different. And nobody has the exact same pelvic floor. Okay, we're all different. We have different personality. So, we have different body types. We have different lives. Just go with it. Okay? All right, and if you'd like to do more, you can pause the video and go ahead and explore more on this. I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, now, so we somehow release that pelvic floor. I don't know how you feel, but I feel, I mean, it's a little bit tender. I do have a tight pelvic floor. I tend to have a tight pelvic floor here, but it is a nice, relaxed sensation that I'm feeling now. Okay, now I'm going to turn my roller out this way. Again, you don't have to have a roller. You can use a basketball, a volleyball, or any bouncy ball, okay? Now we're going to massage or release the sits bone, the ischial tuberosity, okay? So that's a bony landmark on the bum cheek, underneath the bum cheek. Okay, I'm going to sit on my right bottom cheek, my right sit bone. I'm going to put my right hand down. I'm going to take my left foot off, so I'm lifting my left bum cheek off, and then, ooh, sitting bone, ow, ow. Right, see, tight right pelvic floor, that's what I have. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trail to make I'm going to massage around the sits bone. So imagine my sits bone is like a little a ball, all right? So I'm going to go around that ball-like sits bone, releasing any tension I have around that sitting bone, because the pelvic floor is also attaches to that bone. And then go in the other direction. Yeah, tender, definitely. Okay, now changing over to the other side. Again, you can pause the video if you need more time. And then I'm lifting my right bum cheek right onto my left sitting bone, which is pretty released. You know, you may find the same thing that I find, that one part of the pelvic floor, the right or the left or the front or back, it's a lot more ouchy than the other side. That shows that you have an imbalance of pelvic placement. Yeah. Okay. Right. Just kind of going over to the other direction as well. Okay. That's pretty good on my left side here. Okay, so that's on to the release technique of the pelvic floor. All right, now let's work on strengthening or connecting into that pelvic floor. So what I like to do is I actually like it to do this on a fitness ball. But I don't have a fitness ball, and many of you may not have a fitness ball, so what I came out with is towers of cushion. You can put as many cushions as you like to sit on it, okay? I actually like mine with 3 cushions. I'm not that tall. I'm only 5'2" on a good day. I shrink down to 5'1" at night, so I'm not that tall at all. So what I do, I stack up my cushion and I sit like so. You can choose any position you like. You can even do this sitting on a chair, sitting on the fitness ball, standing up, kneeling down. You can sit like what I'm doing, or you can also have your feet forward like so, on in a diamond position. Okay, so anything. What I like sometimes when I sit on this, that I have a good sensation of feedback on my pelvic floor. So the floor of my pelvic floor is connected to something else. And because of, remember, that dome-like position, the dome-like shape, is also created by this cushion. Okay, so I kind of know or feel, it gives me a good feedback on how I connect to my pelvic floor. Okay, let's move on, guys. So you can sit in any position you like. Here, here, tuck in this way, all right? Or again, on a chair, standing, kneeling, c'est la vie. All right, I'm gonna get myself into a diamond-shaped position. Okay, now let's tap onto that pelvic floor. Okay, remember in my tutorial I talk about the passages. The front passage being the urethra, the middle passage being the vagina, and the back passage being the anus. This is considering you are female, okay? If you're a male, you only have the front and the back passage. You also have the middle passage, but you don't have the opening. So you can also imagine you have that middle passage opening, okay? Right, so remember, empty your bladder. If you haven't done so, pause the video, go to the toilet, empty your bladder. You need it. Right. If you've done all of that, let's settle your body in the space. I like to invite you to close your eyes. Now, just take an inhalation, breathe in, and breathe out. Allow that pelvis to settle on the chair, on the ground, on the pillow, standing up, whatever medium you used and choose today. And then deep inhalation again. And exhale. And I'd like you to just control the breath as we do this. Inhale. And I'd like to invite you to bring your focus on that pelvic bowl, on that pelvic floor that we just released. Perhaps it's still throbbing from being released before. And let that be. Now, I want you to tap onto your front passage, your urethra, and just try to locate it. Okay, maybe you need to rock a little bit forward to find it a little bit more, perhaps. You're welcome to do so. Now, as you inhale, I want you to think about drawing that front passage up. And then exhale, and then let it go down. Now, the imagery you can use here is kind of like perhaps if you have a straw and every single passages has a straw attached to the passages, okay? Now, as you inhale, I want you to think that straw, you're just slurping like a lemonade, drawing up the straw as you lift that passage up. And you hold that drawing sensation through the straw. Hold it for about 2 seconds and then release it. Okay, we're going to go through each passages here. Okay? Now, and the next passage we're going to go through is the middle passage. Now I want you to inhale as you draw that passage up through that straw, and then we're just going to hold it. 1, 2, and then exhale, and then release down. And then let's move on to the back passage. And we're going to inhale, try to look at the back passage. I want you to draw that back passage up. And then we hold it. Inhale, 1, 2. And then exhale, draw that passage down. Another thing that you need to take note here, guys, everybody, is that you do not have to contract that pelvic floor 100%. You just need to connect into about 20-40% of that pelvic floor, and that's okay. That's enough to be functional. Okay? 20-30% of that pelvic floor. Okay, let's move on to the front passage again. As you inhale, draw that front passage, urethra up. And exhale, we draw it down. And in the middle passage, draw it up again. Like slurping lemonade through a straw. And exhale, draw it down. Moving on to the back passage. And inhaling up through that straw. And exhale. And let's go on to the front again. Front passage. Hold it and exhale. Middle passage as you inhale. And hold it and exhale. And then back passage and inhale. And then exhale. And you can choose to keep going with this exercises. You can pause the video or just ignore my voice and keep working on it. Okay? And now we're going to move on to the next exercise. We're going to connect the 3 passages into one passage. Now the next exercise is an elevator exercise. You can open your eyes for a second here, guys, at home. Okay. Now the elevator exercise, so you have the 3 passages, and the 3 passages will unite into one passage. Okay? And then we're going to divide the section from the pelvic floor, the base of the pelvic floor to the belly button. Okay, so this is my base of my pelvic floor, and that's my belly button. Now, I often teach this to my pre and postnatal ladies. Okay, I talk a lot about the pelvic floor. Now, with this ground floor, the base of the pelvic floor and the belly button, we're going to divide this space into 5 levels, so 5 floors. So first, second, third, fifth floor. Fifth floor being the belly button. I'd like to invite you now to close your eyes. Inhale and then exhale, let your body settle onto the medium that you're sitting on. Okay, now I want you to unite all those passages, become one elevator. Okay? Now here, I want you, as you inhale, I want you to take the elevator up onto the first floor. And then exhale, draw it down, back to the ground floor. And then inhale, take it up again onto the second floor. And then exhale, and draw it down again onto the ground floor. And then inhale, take it up again onto the third floor. And exhale, down again onto the ground floor. And then inhale up onto the fourth floor. And then exhale, and then down again to the ground floor. Now, remember, you don't want to bear it down. You don't want to push it down. Just descend the elevator down. And the last one, inhale, drawing up into the fifth floor. And then let's take it down onto the ground floor as you exhale. All right, this time I want you to exhale to lift that pelvic floor up. So exhale, draw the pelvic floor up onto the first floor. And then inhale, bring it down to the first floor, or to the ground floor, sorry. And then exhale, bring it up again to the second floor. Inhale, down to the ground floor. And then exhale, bring it up again to the third floor. Inhale, release it down to the ground floor. And fourth floor, as you exhale, inhale, down onto the ground floor. And then exhale to the fifth floor. And then inhale, down to the ground floor. All right, open your eyes for a second. You should be able to connect to your pelvic floor on an inhale or an exhale. Any breathing, the pelvic floor should be able to be strengthened. So this is more in not in a subconscious level. Okay, in a more subconscious level is that pelvic floor sort of move together with the diaphragm, like so. Inhale and exhale. We're just training that pelvic floor into sorry, I'm losing my words here. I'm just training that pelvic floor so they can be a lot stronger and we can control them to what we want them to do. Okay? All right, now let's close our eyes again. Now it's a little bit different here, guys. So I want you to exhale, draw that pelvic floor up to the third floor. Hold it up in the third floor as you inhale. Hold it up as you exhale. Hold it up as you inhale. And exhale, bring it down to the ground floor. And then inhale, take it up to the fifth floor. And hold it up onto the exhale. Hold it up as you inhale. It's a lot harder here. And hold it on the exhale. Inhale, bring it down to the ground floor. And then exhale to the first floor. Inhale, up to the third floor. Exhale, up to the fifth floor. Inhale, down to the ground floor. Tricky, huh? Let's do it again. Exhale, up to the third floor. Inhale, up to the fourth floor. Exhale, down to the third floor. Inhale, up to the fifth floor. And then exhale, down to the ground floor. And then inhale, stay on the ground floor. Exhale, let's take it up to the first floor. Inhale, up to the third floor. exhale up to the 5th floor. Hold it on an inhale on the 5th floor and exhale down to the ground floor. And let's release that. So you can play around with the pelvic floor on an inhale and an exhale at any level you like. Take that, practice that every day and see if you can feel that pelvic floor more and more. If you don't feel it today, that's okay, guys. Practice makes perfect. Okay, don't worry if you do a mistake. Just keep working on it, keep trying to find it. One day it will happen. Another thing I would say is if you do have pelvic floor issue, seek some professional help, perhaps some pelvic floor specialist that can help you and guide you to train or find the cause or the issue of the pelvic floor. Okay, so let's move on and put that pelvic floor into practice. So release the cushions. Oops. All right, I want you to lie on your back. Lying supine, feet are hip width apart, shoulders are open, arms are long. Okay, now your pelvic floor is quite warm now. Okay, good. All right, so inhale, lateral breathing. Exhale, as the diaphragm comes up, I want you to draw that pelvic floor elevator up towards the belly button. And an inhale, lateral breathing. Remember, diaphragm contracts down, the pelvic floor also contracts up, but do not push that pelvic floor down. Just subconsciously just release it. Now exhale, draw that pelvic floor up like an elevator and then tap higher into the abdominal here. Okay? And again, inhale, lateral breathing, and then exhale, draw that pelvic floor up, wraps the abdominal in. Let's go into some pelvic curls. So inhale, and then exhale, pelvic floor, and then you're gonna draw the lower back down, scooping the abdominal here. This is where the pelvic floor is important to hold the content and support the content of the abdominal, right? And then take it up into your bridge here. Okay, now hold that position at the top. You'll find that pelvic is higher than your ribs, than your heart. So I want you to stay out here, and I want you to inhale. Allow the pelvic floor to descend down towards the base of the pelvic. And then exhale, draw it up as you connect into your abdominal. And then inhale, and then exhale. Now I want you to do this without squeezing your bottom, okay? And then inhale, pure pelvic floor work. Exhale, you feel that pelvic floor draws up into the rib cage, which is descending down towards the shoulder, okay? And then inhale, and exhale. It's a good way to find that pelvic floor connection. And then exhale. Let's do one more time. Inhale, and then exhale as you roll the spine down. Okay, and then let's do that again. In breath, exhale, pelvic elevator drawing up towards the belly button, and then the pelvis rock, imprint the lower back, and then you articulate the pelvis up onto your bridge. Okay, inhale, stay up the top, and exhale, again lift that pelvic floor elevator towards the heart. And an inhale, and exhale. The gravity is helping you here, so you find that it's a little bit easier perhaps than what we did before. And an exhale, drawing the elevator up towards the belly button. And then one more time, inhale, and then exhale as you roll the spine down. And then release. Have your feet slightly wider, maybe at the edge of the side of the mat. I want you to just turn the leg to the side here, tip it to the side, and then bring it up. Just to stretch that pelvic floor, and then bring it up. And then exhale. And up. Remember, you want your pelvic floor to be strong, but a strong pelvic floor is also a supple and elastic pelvic floor. And tip to one side, and then over, and then last one, and center. All right, coming up. The next position that we're going to work on is your all four. Okay, so this position is going to imitate squatting position. So shoulder over your hands. Now what I want you to do is bring your feet together. Okay, feet together, heel, feet in small V, diamond shape. Okay, right here. Knee slightly wider than the hip joint. Okay, so it's going to look a little bit like that. Pardon my dirty feet. Okay, here. Now, I just want you to rock back as you inhale, and then as you exhale, draw that pelvic floor up and bring your pelvis in the same plane as your knee. And again, inhale. Imagine you're squatting. Exhale. And then inhale. Pelvic elevator, drawing up. Again, inhale. And exhale. One more, inhale. Stretching out the pelvic floor, exhale. Drawing back. Let's change your breathing here. We're going to exhale. Inhale, bounce it up. Exhale. Stretch pelvic floor. Inhale, bounce it up. And then exhale. And then bounce it up. One more, exhale. And exhale, bounce it up. Now, half your feet wider and half a knee wider. So wider stance here. Okay, so same thing again. Inhale, we're going to push the pelvis back. Exhale, bring it back here. And then inhale, we're stretching it, but holding it together. And exhale, we bring it back up. And then inhale, exhale. And always think about the elevator, drawing up before you move. And inhale. And elevator. One more. And now we're going to change that breathing. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. One more. We need to be easy to adapt on an inhale and exhale here. There's no right or wrong. You need to be able to connect to your pelvic floor on both breaths. Okay? Come back in. And now bring your knees hip width apart. Okay. Now here. So you are in a nice alignment here. Take an inhale. And then I want you to exhale. Draw the elevator up towards your belly button, hugging that center in. And we're just going to hold that in for 3, 2, 1, and release. And again, 2 more times. Exhale, draw that pelvic elevator up as you exhale. Hold an inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. One more time. And exhale, drawing the pelvic floor elevator up. Hold in an inhale. 3, 2, 1. And release. Now as you do that, let's float the knees. So on your exhale, again, draw that pelvic floor like you just did. I want it to slightly hover. Okay, that knees off. And we're just going to breathe here. Inhale. Exhale, holding that pelvic floor up as you keep inhaling and exhaling. Stay there. 3 and 2 and 1. Well done. And then release. Release the feet, sit the pelvis back. You can open the knee slightly wider and then just sit back into your rest position. Okay, just stretching that pelvic floor, allowing that sitting bone to widen out to the side here. Okay, inhale and exhale, pick up the pelvic floor up and then come up again. Okay, lastly, I want to invite you to stand here, guys. A great way to strengthen your pelvic floor, in all honesty, squats. Okay, so we did a modified squat position before by being on our knees and hands. If your knee allow you to do so, I like to invite you to stand. Okay, so have your feet slightly wider than your hips here. Okay, now a good alignment is required here. Okay, now I want you to inhale, descend it down. So as you inhale, the diaphragm contracts down. Okay, and I want you to hold that pelvic floor here. Don't let it drop down and bury down to the ground. Okay, so we're going to inhale. I want you to just descend your pelvis down, however height you can get. Okay, now as you exhale, pelvic elevator, draw it up and bring yourself up. Okay, and inhale, you can take your hands here. I'm just going to emulate the diaphragm. Inhale, I descend down, but do not let the pelvic floor drop down. Hold it. And exhale, pick it up. Bring it up as the diaphragm relaxes up. And then inhale, down. Hold the bottom of the pelvic floor here, guys. Exhale, draw the elevator as you come up. Okay, and then inhale again. Let's do one more time here. And then exhale, hold, draw the elevator as you come up. Okay, now let's go down again. Inhale, and let's just stay here. Okay, exhale, draw the elevator up. Inhale, one more time. Exhale, draw the elevator up. Inhale. Exhale, draw it up and take yourself up. Yep, you're gonna feel the burn on your thighs. Let's do one last one. And let's go down as you inhale. Now make sure you don't slouch that body down, guys. Do me a favor, lift that spine up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And take it up. Good job. Okay, and let it go. Shake it out. Okay. Well, I hope that helps you to understand and locate where are your pelvic floor. If you find that sensation is still rather vague today, it's okay. It's a good start. Keep practicing, keep revisiting this video. Think about the tutorial of the pelvic floor. It makes more sense and more as you practice. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you in my other videos, or my other classes. And have a great day, and see you later.